Zira's morning started, as always, with her head bumping the bottom rung of the charging dock. 4 feet tall, and somehow the only place on the station calibrated to her height was the air vent she used as a shortcut. She squeezed out, landing in the main corridor, narrowly dodging an 8-foot Slynthian who didn't even notice her. Not that anyone did. Her communicator buzzed. "Good morning, Zira. Don't forget your booster seat for the council meeting. Last time, no one could see you over the console." That was Sorka, her supervisor. Always so encouraging. Zira grinned, flipping her tail in a sarcastic wave only she found funny. She checked her reflection in a polished panel, oversized work jacket, 3 sizes too big. Not exactly the stuff of cosmic romance novels. In the break room, the coffee dispenser was, as usual, just out of her reach. She considered climbing, but 2 of her colleagues were already watching. She could practically hear the punchline brewing. "Oh look, she's going for it," snickered Browl, the station engineer with tentacles for days and jokes as stale as the breakfast protein cubes. "Careful, Zira. Don't strain yourself, gravity's got it out for you." Zira stuck out her tongue. "At least I'm not tripping over my own limbs. Some of us have a more compact design. Efficient, really. You know what they say about small packages." She gave him a wink, making Browl choke on his drink. Another colleague chimed in. "Maybe you just need someone with a really big reach, Zira. Or a big heart." The way she said it, with just the right emphasis, drew giggles. Zira didn't mind, she'd learned to dish it back. "Well, size isn't everything. I hear what really matters is endurance." A couple of the newer recruits, wide-eyed and giggly, whispered as she walked by. "She's too small for love," one said. The other replied, "That's just because she hasn't met a human yet. You know what they say about Earthmen." She let them finish in their own heads. Rumors about humans had spread ever since the station started welcoming the new species on the block. Some said humans had enormous capacities. Others just liked to let the mystery hang in the air like a cloud of hot plasma. She arrived at her workstation, activating her comms to check the morning announcements. There it was, bold as plasma, intergalactic mixer this cycle. Humans attending. All species welcome. She rolled her eyes, imagining the kind of mingling that went on at those things. Her friend Nala messaged. "I dare you to talk to a human. They say their hearts are huge. Maybe that's what you need." Zira typed back. "Pretty sure they mean cardiac muscle, Nala. Last thing I need is a literal heart-to-heart with an Earthman." The chat buzzed with laughing emojis and innuendo-laced suggestions. Nala, ever the matchmaker, added, "Come on, Zira. You keep saying there's no one your size. Maybe you just need someone who can handle more than one dimension, if you know what I mean." Zira closed the chat and pulled up her dating profile, grimacing. Every match was a dud. "Oh, you're cute, but I need someone who won't get lost in the covers. You look like fun, but how do you feel about booster seats?" She'd been matched 3 times with the station's food service bot. She'd started messaging it back just for practice. "Do you serve love with a side of fries?" The bot replied. "Error. Unrecognized request." Another notification pinged. "Your dating profile has been updated, matched with small print." Great. Even the algorithms had jokes. Sorka appeared in the doorway. "Don't forget the mixer, Zira. Representation matters. And bring your sense of humor. Those humans love a good laugh." "Or so I hear," Zira replied. "If I wanted to laugh at myself, I'd just check my message history." Sorka winked. "Maybe tonight you'll find someone who can see eye to eye. Or at least, knee to eye." The adults in the room snickered. Zira smirked, feigning annoyance but secretly pleased. At least the jabs meant they noticed her. Lunch was another parade of size jokes. The utensils were all too big, the chair legs dangled far above the floor. "You need a grappling hook to get into that chair?" someone teased. "Nope," Zira shot back. "Just a little lift, and maybe a little luck. Not everyone's built for the big time, but some of us are just the right fit for special situations." Rumors about the mixer grew wilder as the day wore on. One engineer claimed humans needed special permits for large equipment. Another, giggling, wondered if Zira would need to sign a waiver. By shift's end, the whole station was buzzing. Someone started a betting pool. Will Zira make it through one dance with a human? Will the human survive? Over-under on how many inches it takes to win her heart. Zira shrugged it all off, heading for her quarters. She collapsed onto her bunk, reviewing the day's insults and invitations. She couldn't tell if she was dreading the mixer or secretly excited. Maybe she was tired of always being the punchline. Maybe, just maybe, tonight would be the night she proved it's not about size, but spark. As she drifted to sleep, Nala's message blinked in the corner. Remember, Zira, it's not the length of the tentacle, it's the motion of the orbit. Go show them how it's done. Zira smiled, feeling a tiny surge of hope. Maybe it was time for the universe to meet someone with a big heart, no matter how small her shadow looked in the doorway. The intergalactic mixer buzzed like a fusion core ready to blow, and if Zira had hoped for anonymity, she was out of luck. The entrance scan mistook her for unaccompanied luggage, and the attendant, a humorless Vortation, insisted on stamping her hand with fragile. Zira took it as a compliment. At least someone had noticed her. Inside, every species was represented, blue-skinned Authari huddling near the bar, Slinthians sprawled across 3 couches, and a human cluster occupying the center, taller than everyone else, their laughter echoing around the dome. Zira felt like a child at a grown-up party, right until Nala's message flashed. Spot your prey yet? Remember, humans like confidence. And a challenge. She wasn't sure she'd ever find the nerve, but the drink selection was less intimidating. She ordered the Zalanian Glow, her favorite. The server raised an eyebrow. You sure about that, little one? Zira grinned. I may be fun-sized, but I'm high-octane. The drink glowed bright pink, drawing more attention than she liked. She took a big gulp anyway. Instantly, her cheeks lit up like a navigation beacon. Great, now she was the only neon guest in the room. She didn't notice the human until he was right in front of her, holding 2 glasses and wearing a smile so easy it had to be practiced. You look like you could use a chaser, he said. Jack, Earth Sector. Want to trade drinks? Yours looks like it's about to launch. His voice was friendly, his eyes level with hers, because, as she quickly realized, he'd knelt down to meet her gaze. Not a condescending stoop, not a look at the cute alien, but a genuine attempt at conversation. She arched a brow. Is this how humans make their moves? Or are you just getting a better look at the merchandise? The joke landed. Jack grinned. Well, I like to inspect quality up close. You never know what surprises a compact model might have. A pair of Slinthians nearby overheard, snorting. Careful, human. That one's got a reputation for punching above her weight. Zira shot them a look. Just because I don't need a stepladder to kiss someone doesn't mean I can't reach the stars. Jack's laughter was easy and genuine. I'm not worried. Besides, I hear size is all about perspective. And heart. He placed his hand over his chest, feigning innocence. I've been told mine's generous. Zira cocked her head, playing along. That's a bold claim. On my world, we measure heart the old-fashioned way, medical scanner, 3 decimal places. Some say it's not the size of your heart, it's how you use it. The innuendo hung between them, delicious and obvious. They drifted to the drink bar, Zira glowing a little brighter, Jack clearly amused. She reached for a snack, only to find the platters arranged at average Slinthian height, hopelessly out of reach. Jack, without a word, scooped one up and handed it to her, fingers brushing hers for a half-second too long. I've got your back. Or should I say, your reach? She didn't pull away. What, you like to keep your hands busy? He laughed. Depends on who's watching. Their conversation picked up speed, jokes tumbling over each other. Jack asked. So what's it like dating out here? Any cosmic deal breakers? Zira sipped her glowing cocktail, feigning deep thought. Let's see. Anyone with too many limbs is out. Allergic to zero-G? Deal breaker. And if your species doesn't have a sense of humor, or a big heart, it's a hard pass. Jack nodded, mock serious. I tick all those boxes. No extra limbs, passed the zero-G test, and my humor's, well, my ex says it's out of this world. Zira grinned. Prove it. Tell me something only a human would say at a party like this. He leaned in, lowering his voice. If I asked you to come back to my shuttle, it's not because I need a co-pilot. But if you want to take the controls, I'm game. Zira burst out laughing. That's the best offer I've had all week. Not that the bar was set high. The music changed to something bouncy and unfamiliar. Couples and clusters found the courage to dance. Jack stood, offering his hand. Care for a spin? I promise I won't step on your toes. Unless you want me to. Zira put her hand in his, feeling a jolt that wasn't entirely from the glow. Just don't drop me. I don't bounce as well as I look. They wove through the dancers, Zira's head barely reaching Jack's ribs. She pretended to trip, steadying herself against him. Careful, Earthman. Small package, big impact. Jack grinned. I can handle a little turbulence. As they circled the floor, the rumors spread. She's really dancing with him. Wonder how long before the gravity generator blows. Maybe they'll need a first aid kit for him. Zira caught the whispers but didn't care. For the first time, she wasn't the joke. She was the story. Back at the bar, their banter got looser, fueled by another round. Jack tried the Zalanian glow, and nearly coughed up a lung. How do you drink this stuff? She laughed. Practice, and a strong stomach. It helps if you're not human-sized. He nodded, wiping tears from his eyes. So what else do you do for fun, besides dazzling everyone and reaching for the stars? She tilted her head. I collect rumors. My favorite? Humans are insatiably curious. Always looking for new experiences. Especially off-world. He smiled. Guilty. So what rumor have you heard about me? She took a beat. That humans have big hearts. That you're generous with your time. That you don't mind a challenge. Jack leaned closer. All true. Want to find out for yourself? Zira met his gaze, bold for once. Maybe I do. An alarm sounded, startling them both. It was just the station's announcement. Last call for the mixer. Last round for courage. Last chance for risky decisions. Jack didn't hesitate. Walk me to the docking bay. Zira's pulse kicked up. Try and keep up, Earthman. I set the pace. As they headed out, Jack glanced over his shoulder. Any regrets? She shook her head. Just one. I waited this long to try something my size. Turns out, the universe has room for every kind of love. Even the small kind. Jack squeezed her hand. Or maybe the biggest kind, in the smallest package. The Slinthians watched them go, making rude bets, but Zira ignored them. For once, she wasn't the punchline. She was the possibility. And as the mixer faded into the background, Zira realized she didn't need to be big to make an impact. She just needed to be seen by someone who measured heart by how much you could give, not how tall you stood. The night ended with laughter, her cheeks still glowing, and the promise of a new rumor to add to her collection. Sometimes, the smallest spark lights up the whole galaxy. Jack sent Zira a message the next morning. It was a simple breakfast? With a little heart emoji at the end. Zira considered replying with a galaxy's worth of puns, but settled for only if you're ready for a real challenge. Human food, or Zalanian? Jack's answer. Surprise me. Brave words for a species infamous for seasoning their meals with fear of the unknown. She met him at the station's culinary zone, her confidence high and her glow hangover finally faded. Jack was already waiting, fiddling with a menu, eyeing the listings like each one might explode. Zira started him off easy, Zalanian poppings, which sizzled and burst in the mouth. He nearly spat the first bite into his lap. That's zesty. What's in it? Zira grinned. Mostly safe proteins. And something that tingles. Try this next. She handed him a blue wedge with a spiral on top. He gave her a skeptical look, then bit in. His eyes went wide. That's cold. And moving. Zira laughed. You've never lived until breakfast wiggles back. Jack returned the favor, offering a piece of what humans call toast. Zira nibbled, frowned. Is this supposed to taste like disappointment? He grinned. It's a classic. We save all the flavor for dinner. They traded bites and wisecracks, making a mess of the table. Zira flicked crumbs at him. Jack flicked his back, pretending to aim for her tail. I hear that thing's prehensile, he teased. Careful, you might lose a finger. She winked. Depends where you put it. They wandered the station together, Jack introducing her to human customs, Zira retaliating with Xalanian traditions. At a human gift kiosk, Jack picked up a floppy hat and placed it on her head. It immediately slid over her eyes. Very fashionable, he said. All the rage back home. Want to try my jacket too? She tugged it on, sleeves dragging across the floor, the hem puddling at her feet. I feel like I'm swimming in this. Is this how you survive on cold planets? Just hide inside until spring? Jack's eyes twinkled. You look good in my clothes. She shot back. You should see me out of them. Jack choked on his laughter. At the medbay, Zira showed him the Xalanian heart scanner. This is how we prove compatibility. Scan for cardiac capacity. You game? Jack feigned terror, then stuck his finger in the sensor. It flashed neon red, beeped 3 times, and spat out a result. Cardiac size excessive. Zira read it aloud, giggling. Looks like your reputation's safe, Earthman. Jack leaned in. Maybe you should run that again, just to be sure. Or you could just check it, manually. Later, at the recreation center, they joined a 0G dance session. Jack flailed, arms everywhere, bouncing off the ceiling. Zira twisted and flipped gracefully, making circles around him. You call this dancing? She called out. Looks more like you're escaping invisible tentacles. He floated past, upside down. I'm just warming up. Next round's on me. She teased. Try to keep up, slowpoke. I may be small, but I set the pace. Their flirty banter was interrupted by the station's HR bot. Reminder, all cross-species relationships must complete Form 14B. Please indicate levels of mutual consent, comfort with anatomical differences, and willingness to negotiate bedtime temperature. Jack took the form, mock serious. How do you feel about sharing blankets? Zira pretended to consider. As long as you don't hog them with your massive appendages. He scribbled in the box labeled, other comments. Open to further exploration. Zira added, may require extra pillows for proper support. Word of their antics spread. By afternoon, the station grapevine had mutated their story into something legendary. Nala sent a message. Heard you gave a human a heart test. How'd he score? Need backup? Zira replied. Scored off the charts. Might need to borrow a bigger scanner. At the mess hall, Slynthians gossiped, eyes on the couple. Think she can handle a human long term? With that heart? She'll need a recharge after every date. Jack caught some of the whispers and grinned. Popular today? Zira rolled her eyes. You know how it is. Small stature, big reputation. He reached for her hand. Let's give them something to talk about. They wandered into the observation deck. Zira perched on the railing, Jack beside her, both staring out at the spiral arms of the galaxy. You ever feel like you don't fit? Jack asked, voice soft for once. Zira shrugged. All the time. But lately, less so. Jack nodded. Back on Earth, everyone's always trying to outdo each other. Be the biggest, the fastest, the loudest. But here, I just want to find my place. Maybe next to someone who isn't afraid to take up her own space. Zira nudged him. You mean someone fun-sized? Jack laughed. I mean someone with enough heart for both of us. Their comms pinged, a reminder from the social council. Please report for compatibility check. Zira groaned. They don't waste time. Jack stood, mock formal. Lead the way, tiny titan. She smacked him lightly with her tail. Watch it, Earthman. I bite. The compatibility check was more farce than formality. Questions like, are you comfortable with differences in physical dimensions? How do you plan to address mismatched appendages? What is your favorite interspecies position for mutual rest? Zira answered with gusto, Jack adding dry humor. We'll improvise, he said at one point. We're flexible, Zira added. Some of us more than others. The clerks stamped their forms with a heart, not bothering to hide a smirk. As they left, Jack grinned. So, we passed. Zira grinned back. Was there ever a doubt? He slipped his arm around her. You ready for the next challenge? She leaned in. Only if you promise to keep up. He squeezed her shoulder. You set the pace, Sparkplug. By the day's end, rumors had evolved into legends. The tiny Zalanian with the big heart, the human who could keep up. Slinthian started a new betting pool. How many cycles before the human asks for a break? Zira just laughed. They haven't seen anything yet. She and Jack ended the day sharing dessert, Zalanian honey crystals and human chocolate, an odd but surprisingly sweet combination. This is new, Jack said, breaking off a piece for her. Zira popped it in her mouth. Sometimes you have to mix things up. Even if the pieces don't fit perfectly at first. Jack leaned closer, voice low. As long as they taste good together. She grinned, licking a sugar crystal from her finger. I can work with that. The lights dimmed, and the rest of the station faded away. Zira rested her head on Jack's shoulder, for once not caring who watched, who whispered, or who kept score. All that mattered was the heart beside her, beating strong and steady, proof that sometimes, being small was the biggest advantage of all. And in the quiet between jokes and rumors, they both realized, love was never about the size of your shadow. It was about how brightly you could make someone else shine. Rumors zipped across the station at light speed. By sunrise, Zira had apparently survived a night of extreme human affection, outranked Jack at the rec bar, and broken the previous record for smallest person to steal the biggest heart. Nala's morning ping summed it up. Your reputation's gone supernova. I had 3 Slinthians ask for dating tips. They don't even have hearts. Zira laughed into her pillow, feeling a flutter somewhere deep and real. For once, she didn't mind being the talk of the galaxy. At the commissary, the server gave Jack a sideways grin. I hear you're the first human to survive Zalanian glow juice and a cuddle from Zira. What's your secret? Jack grinned back. Strong constitution. And a willingness to stretch. Zira chimed in. It's all about pacing yourself. You don't rush quality. The other diners grinned, catching the joke, while someone in the back whispered. Small package, Galactic results. Later, the station AI flashed a special bulletin. Congratulations! Zira and Jack have been selected for the Great Heart Resonance Experiment. Zira rolled her eyes. Now we're science fair exhibits? Jack shrugged. Could be worse. At least they didn't sign us up for the 3-legged race. Zira snorted. You'd have an unfair advantage. Those Earth legs go on forever. They reported to the lab, greeted by the chief medic and 3 nosy elders with data pads. The experiment was simple in theory. Hold hands in a zero-gravity chamber. Let the scanners read heart resonance, and answer a round of increasingly personal questions. Zira slipped her fingers into Jack's, feeling the familiar jolt of mismatched skin and pulse. The chamber floated them up, blurring the floor and ceiling. The medic asked, What drew you to your partner? Jack didn't miss a beat. Her gravitational pull. Couldn't resist. The elders scribbled. Zira added, He saw my heart before my height. That's rare in any quadrant. The medic tried to look stern. Are you confident in your compatibility? Zira winked. If not, we'll just keep practicing. Thoroughness is a virtue. Jack squeezed her hand. We're already breaking records for endurance. Scanners beeped, printers whirred, elders whispered. Final result. Heart resonance, maximal. Side effects, increased laughter, rumors, minor bruising to pride. The medic cleared his throat. We recommend moderation, but commend your initiative. Jack replied. No worries. We're professionals. Afterward, word spread station-wide. The little Zalanian and her human were officially the new gold standard. Cynthians offered to host the after-party. Authari scribbled poems in their honor. Someone started a new dance craze called the Big Heart Shuffle, where the smallest person in each group led the routine. The humans and aliens paired up for impromptu contests. Who could hug the hardest, laugh the loudest, last the longest on zero-G hoverpods. Zero was the unofficial referee, her size now the running joke and the badge of honor. Jack wore a t-shirt. I love fun size, and took every ribbing in stride. Station Council issued a new proclamation. Henceforth, Intergalactic Big Heart Day will be celebrated each cycle, in honor of those who prove that the biggest impact comes in the smallest forms. Sorka pinned a shiny badge to Zira's collar. Ambassador of Affection. The station AI ran a highlight reel of her and Jack's best lines. It's not the length of the tentacle, it's the motion of the orbit. And, watch it, Earthman, I bite. The mess hall served extra desserts, with bite-sized portions and chocolate hearts that melted instantly. As festivities roared, Zero was cornered by a group of nervous recruits. How do you do it? One blurted. How do you go big when you're not? Zero thought about it. You show up. You laugh at yourself first. And you remember, everyone's small somewhere. The trick is, you find someone who wants to see all of you, not just the parts that fit their idea of enough. She winked. And a little flexibility never hurts. Jack found her amid the crowd, holding out a sparkly heart-shaped hoverpod key. Ready for the victory lap? She slid in beside him, tail curled around his waist, crowd cheering as they glided through confetti and starlight. This is surreal, Jack said, grinning. Did you ever think you'd end up being a galactic icon? Zira chuckled. I was aiming for not being a punchline. The rest is bonus. He kissed her forehead, which took some bending. Big heart, little legend. She elbowed him. Careful, I'm still fragile. Just ask the luggage scanner. He laughed. Not buying it. You're the toughest on the station. She snorted. Maybe. But I still need you to reach the top shelf. He shrugged. That's what I'm here for. Division of labor. She traced a circle on his hand, voice lower. Guess we found our balance. He squeezed back. Guess we did. They coasted along as the party raged behind them, celebrations fueled by the realization that the station's new favorite couple had made everyone reconsider the way they measured worth. Sorka toasted them from across the room. To Zira and Jack! May your hearts always be too big for any one galaxy. The crowd cheered. Big Heart Day! Fun size forever! The slogan caught on, echoed by young and old. Nala sidled up with a grin. So, do I get credit for this? I dared you to talk to a human. Zira flicked a confetti star at her. You get credit for not letting me shrink away. Jack nodded. And I get credit for having excellent taste. Nala replied. I just want the inside scoop for my next date. Any tips? Zira whispered something in her ear, making Nala turn 3 shades of green, then laugh until she cried. Jack raised an eyebrow. Should I be worried? Zira patted his arm. You should always be a little worried. That's what keeps it interesting. He laughed. Fair enough. Remind me to never underestimate you again. She smiled. That's the spirit. Besides, you never know when the fun size will surprise you. A few hours later, as the celebration faded and most of the crowd drifted away, Zira and Jack lingered, sharing the last piece of chocolate. So what happens now? He asked quietly. She leaned her head against his shoulder. Now? We keep showing everyone how much heart 2 people can have, no matter their size. Maybe make it a little easier for the next odd couple. Jack nodded. That's a legacy I can live with. She teased. Think you can keep up? He grinned. Just try and leave me behind. The lights dimmed, music softened, and the last joke of the night belonged to Zira. The galaxy's big, Earthman, but somehow you make it feel just right. Jack wrapped his arm around her, both of them content, a little infamous, and more than a little in love. And so, Big Hard Day became a tradition, with Zira and Jack as the measure, not of height, not of volume, but of how far love could stretch when you stopped worrying about size and started laughing, living, and loving as loudly as you could.